Hi guys, this is Glenn from Asylum 7 here again with part 2 of our tutorial on Pong. And right now I'm looking at the Cgda output from the Tutorial 02 class that I have already laid out prior to beginning the recording. Basically I've just got our class list, which just has the Tutorial 02 class and what each member is supposed to do. And this is generated from the documentation, or from the source code rather, and it just lays out what the Tutorial 02 class is set up and supposed to do. And this is much the same format that Cgda itself will have. We're going to lay out the style a bit different, but as you can see we do have documentation ready to go for you. So let's take a look at the source code. I've got comments in places where we'll need to actually do things, and you can see the Cgda comment blocks laid out in the headers and the source file. And again, we're actually on Linux today doing development. We're going to bounce back and forth between Linux and Windows throughout the course of this tutorial to ensure that our application works across platforms with no problems. And we have here the stub for the WinMain function in place, and essentially all that it's doing now is redirecting the output of C error into an OF stream, then reads the input in and displays a message box and removes the log file. And this way we can use this syntax on every platform that we're supporting, which is just Linux and Windows in this particular instance, but we should be able to get some meaningful output in case an exception is thrown. So let's start here in main. And I've got the comment laid out here with what we need to do. Let's go ahead and create the game object and call run. And we're going to use a unique pointer to a game. And let's call run. That's all there is to it. That will actually display our window as 1280 by 720, which is the defaults in windowed mode, and it'll give us a black screen, like so, because we have not yet told the graphics device which color we'd like to clear to. So let's go ahead and do that here in the Tutorial 02 render function. Actually, before we do that, let's just go over what I've done here. We have a pointer to a SpriteBatch object, and this is a private variable. We have the field texture and the overlay. And again, the field is simply the watermark and the divider, and the overlay is a placeholder for the scores. And we're going to load those up and display those with this SpriteBatch call. And basically, I've just created a property to give us a reference to the internal object, and marked it as const because it's not going to change the variable itself. And I've actually already implemented that, so we don't have to worry about it. Alright, so first let's clear the screen. And we're going to clear it to that dark gray that we showed in the overview video. And let's go ahead and get that displaying so we can see the difference in the background color, and that looks a bit better. Okay, so now we just make the SpriteBatch begin call. We're going to sort sprites by texture, and we're going to use alpha blending. Next, we'll draw the field. 2, 0, full blend, and we'll come back and draw the overlay in a bit, and in the SpriteBatch. Now, we actually need to get this texture loaded, so let's go ahead up to Load Content, and let's create our SpriteBatch. There we go. So we're resetting the SpriteBatch to a new SpriteBatch object with a reference to our graphics device stored in the instance. Next, we'll set the root directory for our content, which is just content in this case, and we can see the PNG files for the ball, field, overlay, and paddle the way I laid them out in the overview. Let's go ahead and do that now. And let's load the field texture. Loading a texture 2D, field.png. That should actually render now. The field, it does. We've got the watermark Cgda, alpha blended against the background color, and the divider line. Next, we're going to go ahead and lay our overlay on top of everything so that we can see what it will look like once we get the scores in place with the sprite font. That is a texture 2D as well. And we'll just copy paste this line and change the texture. Let's run that. There. So now we've got the beginnings of our application. We've got the field displaying. We've got the scores. Obviously, they're not going to do anything just yet as a texture, but we can see how they're going to be laid out on the field once everything is done. And that's going to conclude this video. Next time we'll get the ball and the paddles displayed, as well as creating some basic game components to update each and every frame so that we get some animation going on. Thanks for watching, everybody. We are still active on Kickstarter. We're quite a ways from reaching our goal, but we're not giving up hope just yet. We've got a lot of faith in this API, a lot of faith in this framework, and we're really, really excited about it. Would love to bring it to you guys. So please continue to spread the word. Thanks again for backing. And again, thanks for watching this video. I'm Glenn with Asylum 7, and we'll see you next time.